Morning guys, always amazes me how the weather can just flip just so quickly. You know, a minute ago it was kind of beautiful sunshine, clear skies. Now I feel like we're actually in the clouds. Look at that. So today I'm out with this, Icom's new ID-52. The first radio I ever had was a realistic TRC 218. My dad bought it for me in a pack of 2 and it literally had 1 channel. I think that's where my love of handheld started. Ever since those humble beginnings, I've always been obsessed with portable radio. So the ID-52 is a dual band, waterproof, FM digital handheld with built-in GPS and one feature that really makes it stand out, that waterfall display. And it is really, really expensive, but you know what? I don't care because it's absolutely brilliant. Look at this. I'm just sitting on another frequency and I can just go down and find activity straight away. That alone is a portable operator's dream. It's like having an Icom 705 in your pocket. Look, it even actually looks like one when you turn it on. Now I know it's not real SDR, you know, it's just a band scope, but it's implemented really, really well on this. And it's the first time we've seen something like this on a radio where it isn't just really gimmicky. Like the FT5, the Acer FT5 has got it. It don't really work. I do wish Icom had made more of a bigger deal over this. This was kind of a feature that seemed to be added later because it wasn't on any of the original marketing info for this radio, but it's still so good. You can see 1 megahertz of historical activity right there. The other thing that's really cool about this radio is its transflective display. So literally I've got no backlight on there and you can actually read that fine. I've flipped the display to white so we can actually see it a bit clearer. But yeah, you can use that without the backlight in the sunlight all day. Not that there's any sunlight around here at the moment. I've been saying this for years, ever since we've started getting coloured displays on radios. Why don't they sort of move to transflective displays? Like Garmin have been doing it a long time. On their E-Trex range of GPS receivers, and this isn't quite as bright as that, but it's not bad. So what's the performance like of this little radio then? Well, I've got to say I am very impressed so far. I'm not just saying that because, you know, a lot of these handhelds are kind of a bit of a muchness now. You know, they're all as good as each other, they're all as sensitive as each other, but I've got to say this does seem to have the edge over some of the other radios I've got. I mean, I'm hearing a lot of signals at the moment, and I'm not sure if I would if I'd sort of grabbed the Bayer thing or something like that. You know, there's 2 stations there you can see. I'm listening to one, and you can see the other on the end of the waterfall there. It also seems to couple to you pretty well. Look, now I'm holding that tight. Look at the signal increase. So, you know, that need for a counterpoise or anything else is definitely helped out by, you know, you actually becoming part of the antenna. I can't really say I've noticed that so obviously before. Get a bit of an aircraft flutter now. This is the weaker station of the 2. So unfortunately I didn't manage to break into that little QSO there. I don't know where they were, but yeah, they dispersed pretty quickly. But I'll insert a little clip I took yesterday of a station that was a similar sort of signal strength to that one, to show you that, you know, it is possible to do nearly 20 miles on this, you know, to a home base setup. Yeah, G4 MDB from M6 JKA.
Rubber ducky on the top, so he's doing quite well. I'm pushing it round to you, Fred. I think that's the rate it goes now. Forgive me if it's wrong, all a bit of tiz now.
Chelmsford he was.
Andy wouldn't mind another call if we go round again.
And that's obviously not using repeaters as well. On the subject of repeaters, out of the box, this thing will literally find your repeater, your nearest repeater, using the GPS and load it straight into the actual VFO there. So that's a feature that's been on these Icom radios for quite some time now, but it originally only worked with digital. Now it works with FM. And also the previous radios that I've had from Icom haven't been programmed either. Even the 705 wasn't programmed with all the UK repeaters. So despite not having a keypad, it's actually pretty easy to flick, you know, do a quick VFO scan right the way up to there. You know, you could push one button to do this, but I'm just choosing to do it the long way. Anyway, I really like the repeater search functions. That's so good if you're just going somewhere different, you don't know what the repeaters are. Obviously you can use Repeater Book app to find out, but it's so much easier just having it on the radio. You know, 2 button presses and you basically find your repeaters with 3. You can see all the local repeaters there and their distances away from you. So if we pick our local one, let's have a shout out, see if anyone's around. Mike 6 Juliet Kilo Alpha listening through for a test. It's quiet this morning. Oh look, there's another signal there, look. Another welcomed addition to this radio is its ability to be charged from USB. So I know, you know, all the Chinese radios can do that now, so it's kind of nothing new, and really it should do that for the price of it. But it is good nonetheless. Like, it's exactly like an Icom 705. You can charge it from USB and actually use it from USB, but it will actually transmit using the battery power. So you can keep the battery power topped up in receive, which is really useful, and then when you transmit, it'll obviously just use the main power battery to deliver the power. But with that being said, the battery life is amazing. I mean, I had this on yesterday all day, running the bandscope as well, literally all day with the display on, and it had lost one battery bar, and that was with a few QSOs through the day. So the battery life is very good. It's nice to be back in the warm, guys. So what about the digital side of this transceiver? We haven't even talked about that yet, and after all, it is actually marketed as a digital transceiver. So the digital or D-star features are basically the same as the other radios, like the 705 and even like the earlier ID-51. Not much has changed, apart from you can actually, you know, connect by Bluetooth to the MS1A app now, so that's quite cool. And also you can actually send picture messages directly from the radio, which you couldn't do before. So it kind of brings their handheld solution in line with the IC705 now. I've mentioned before, the software between the two is really similar now. So if you get used to using the 705, you can easily just pick up an ID-52 and get going straight away. And if we move on to build quality, look, the waterfall's picking up my LED light I've got here. The Icom build quality, I mean, on this radio and the other radios is exceptional. I mean, you know, you can get an idea from this picture, but it really is a nice looking bit of kit. You know, they've updated it as well. They're kind of, you know, the design is actually, you know, a lot more modern, you know, I think anyway. You know, and that build quality isn't just skin deep. I've said this before, Icom really do know how to integrate hardware and software well together and make a user experience that, you know, us guys as kind of operators, you know, don't have to faff around multiple menus. And that's just one of the problems. For example, like the Yaesu FT5D, you know, when you use this in comparison to the ID-52, it's a world apart. You know, there's things with this radio, which I will cover in another video, which make me really shocked that they've actually put this out. This was a bit like a beta product in comparison to that. Sometimes it can be just the little things, like if you turn the volume control right down, you'd expect to hear no noise from the speaker at all. On the Yaesu it doesn't, you get a tss. And actually, if you're recording to an SD card, it's even worse. That's just one of the niggles, don't get me started. So whilst we're talking about aesthetics, it is bigger than the ID-51 by quite some margin. I thought this when I first saw the pictures of it. I thought, yeah, that looks a lot bigger. And then when the dimensions and stuff came out, it was clear it was going to be, you know, more chunky. But I don't see that as a problem. I do like the kind of ruggedness of that. It feels, you know, good in the hand. It might be a bit heavy in the pocket if you take a handheld everywhere with you, who does? But it's certainly not as big as something like, you know, the President Randy. Actually, it ain't far off. That feels bigger to me. So that says something about their kind of this slim design. The battery sticks out a little bit. It's the same battery they use on the IC705, the BP272 1880 mAh battery. It's probably why it lasts so long. So, should you buy it? If you've got 520 quid burning a hole in your pocket, then probably yeah. It is expensive. It is what it is, I suppose. I mean, all this higher tier radio stuff is pricey. And if you're upgrading from an ID-51, you know, if it's an anniversary edition, are you going to benefit from the extra features? Who knows? You know, it's a nice looking radio and it's got some extra features in there. I kind of wish Icom, as I said before, had done more with this scope. I mean, you can customise it, don't get me wrong, there's lots of extra bits you can do. You can't change colours, maybe that could come as an extra firmware update. It is a scope after all, it's not an SDR, but it is really useful for finding those weaker signals, and the fact that you can be having a QSO and see another station pop up, that's gold, especially if you're kind of, you know, out portable, which is what this is designed for. Which brings it on to another thing, if you're not really out much, there's no point. You might as well just buy an IC705 and just use that from home. But I do like to get out with portable radios, and this is going to be a great VHF UHF solution. It's a shame it hasn't got sideband. I would have actually rather this had SSB than DV, but anyway, I've done a lot with digital. It's not that I'm opposed to it at all. But I do feel the shine from me personally, you know, having been into digital right at the beginning, done D-Star, done Fusion, done DMR, done all of that. The shine from that's just gone now, and I'm more into the old-fashioned FM SSB modes. Don't get me wrong though, I've got some great digital stuff planned for this radio and the 705 in future videos. Anyway guys, hope you've enjoyed this little brief kind of, was it brief? I don't know. Kind of, you know, introduction to this radio. I know there's been a lot of videos about this already, but there's a few things that I wanted to kind of say about it. I really like it, you know, as you can probably tell, I'm really enthusiastic about it. I think it's fantastic to have, you know, a modern radio. Oh yeah, one more thing that I forgot to mention that is a welcome change. When you're recording a QSO, so owners of ID-51s will know this everywhere, you can't play back whilst you're recording. I mean, it sounds stupid, but the system doesn't let you actually start a playback before you've stopped your recording. Even if the radio's not recording anything, you can't just go to play mode straight away. This allows you to, so it's like almost like a bug that they've taken away. Which is most welcome, because extra button presses when you're trying to maybe listen to the playback of an audio file to get someone's call sign quickly or something like that, or hear something that you've recorded, because I have the recorder on all the time. That's really welcome. So anyway, that's going to be it. I'm going to carry on playing, and I'll give you my updates in more videos. Catch you next time, guys.